Hello, this is Jason Matthews. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, and today I want to answer the question, are the police your friend? And the reason why I'm going to answer this question is I see this many times when I'm on YouTube, watching other YouTube videos on other channels. I see comments or I see creators on YouTube making this statement that police are not your friend. So I'm going to definitively answer that question for you today. But before we get started, if you support the police, click the like button. If you do not support the police, click the dislike button. It's anonymous. And I'm just curious of where you stand because of all the divisiveness out there these days. Are the police your friend? I think that the answer is quite obvious. I think that the question itself, or the statement itself, that police are not your friend, is a pretty silly statement, a pretty silly question. And the answer is no, the police are not your friend. But this is not specific to the police. Is anyone who's doing their professional paid job your friend? Absolutely not. They're there to do a job. They're not there to be your friend. They are there to make money to pay their bills, generally speaking. Now, there could be exceptions out there to this rule. I always make exceptions because there's always the 1% chance that people are doing a job for certain reasons, like they don't need the money, but they're there just because they're there, because they want to work. There's that possibility out there. But the vast majority of people that are working are there because they need to work and they need to pay their bills. And so me as a law enforcement officer, when I was working, I was not there to be anyone's friend. I'm there to do a job. Now, I did my job very well, but it has absolutely nothing to do with being anyone's friend. I didn't take the job to go meet people and then be their friend and go out and have beers after work. Now, if you mean by police are not your friend that they are working against you, even that, I will say that's not the case. Generally speaking, I always have to add generally speaking because there could be exceptions. And if you want to know the exceptions, go watch the video, Are Police Corrupt? Because yes, there are some police that are corrupt. But most of the time, police are not there to work against you. They have no incentive. They don't get extra pay to work against you. Police are trained in the academy to recognize certain things and to take action when there are suspicions, when there's evidence and such. These are trained behaviors. Now, if you're upset with the people who made the training, with the law enforcement officials at the high places in the government and such who develop these laws and procedures and such, get with your elected representative. The police have no control over their training. In training, police are trained, if this happens, if you see this, if you see that, then take this certain action, or at least consider this certain action. So if police smell drugs, illegal drugs, for example, or they have a suspicion that there are illegal drugs in a vehicle, they're supposed to take action on that. They can't just not take any action. By policy and law, they're supposed to take action on that information or on that suspicion if it's a valid suspicion. Now, police are also supposed to help you, but that's if you're not committing law violations. Like if you're in distress, if you're in a vehicle accident, there are laws in place where law enforcement is required to help you. It's not that they're your friend. It's that the law or the policy dictates that if there's an emergency, police are required to respond. Now, as I've outlined in other videos, in past videos, what they do once they get there, that is determined by the circumstances specific to that incident. For example, police are not supposed to just rush into a building and risk their lives without any prior planning, without considering all the circumstances, whether they're outgunned and such. They have to take reasonable measures to plan, and that's why you see, for example, if there's a hostage situation, police don't just run in there. So the actual question, are police your friend, is really not even a valid question, and it has an obvious answer. So I've heard people in videos say, police are not your friend, don't talk to them, which is a very black and white answer to a nuanced situation. And they're giving advice that makes no sense in all circumstances. They're giving a black and white answer. Should you talk to the police in certain circumstances? Absolutely you should. If someone has been victimized, in my view, now you can make the case that you shouldn't talk to the police under any circumstances, but I'm talking morally. If someone has been victimized, or let's say there's a natural disaster and they're looking for people to save, and you know where people are and you're not going to talk to the police, okay, that's on you. Now, should you talk to the police under other circumstances? That's for you to determine, morally speaking. But it has absolutely nothing to do with whether police are your friend or not. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Take care and have a great day.